Good evening, peeps, my name is Scribbs, I'm an artist, and I haven't drawn in 2 months. That's right, I haven't drawn in 2 months. That's not very good. During the entirety of the COVID-19 disaster that has been going on and the sort of social distancing and the all being locked up and staying inside, I've still somehow mustered the excuse to not draw in 2 months, which is pretty crazy. I gotta admit, even though I promised and I said that like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna start drawing, I'm gonna do more drawing videos. For some reason, I just decided to take a big break, and then it was just sort of a downhill snowball from there. Here's what went on in my mind. On day one, you're like, oh, okay, I've just drawn. I can wait a bit. I can wait a bit until I actually draw the next drawing, and then you wait a week. And then you're like, okay, I should actually draw now, but you know what, I'm busy this time, so you know what, I'm just gonna push it to next week, no problem, I know my skill's gonna degrade a bit, but that's fine, I'll just wait. And then you get to the second week, and now you know that the next drawing you're gonna be drawing is probably gonna be a bad one. It's probably gonna be bad, it's probably not gonna reach your standards, and it's actually just a disappointing waiting on the horizon at this point. And from that point, it just gets worse and worse and worse. For each day that goes by where you do not get those bad drawings out of the way and where you do not get that practice in, the worse it gets. Which has led to this point. I am officially picking back up drawing again. That is something I'm not just saying now, I'm gonna do it. I am literally, I have set it as a goal for myself to make drawing a bigger part of my channel. I don't want to fall in with just all the rest of the gaming channels, at least not right now. I really do like art, and I want to make it a bigger part of my channel, so that's why I'm actively gonna go for it now. That being said, I had absolutely no idea what sort of, like, drawing to draw. I had no idea. I had a few ideas about, like, Project Arrhythmia, maybe I could draw that, but I didn't want to, like, make my channel or PA oriented either. I wanted to actually draw something different. So I did a Hollow Knight drawing. And what was the brilliant idea I came up with? Turning Hornet into a chibi character. A pouty chibi anime girl. Good job, Scribbs. So yeah, let's roll the footage on that. Actually, wait, bring it back. There we go. Sort of felt I also needed to address this. You know, the reason why I have a webcam on when it's a speed paint video. That's because I found out that apparently for some reason I just talk better when I look at a camera instead of staring at an uninteresting waveform. For some reason, I don't know why, I don't know. So yeah, we have webcam on now. Editing Scribbs, I don't know what you're gonna be doing. This is a disaster of a video already. I leave it in your hands. Your very well-educated, practiced magician hands. It feels good to be finally back at the drawing table. Back booting up my Cintiq, booting up my... Wait, what's my drawing program called? I don't even remember. Clip Studio Paint Pro! Yeah, I didn't have to look that up. I should probably also note it feels just a little sad to have such an expensive device just sitting on the corner of your desk collecting dust, so it does feel really good to open this back up, even though I should be more nervous since I am basically documenting the 2 first drawings that that I'm doing in 2 months. But for the Hornet design, then I should probably get out of the way before we even start the original one, that I have actually been sort of trying to draw a more anatomically correct one. I tried to go for one that was less cartoony. I actually tried to depend heavily on references and maybe even just a tad bit of tracing on the part of just getting the anatomy right. Guidelines that I had not actually been using that much before, but that I thought I would need until I reached a point where I said, screw it. You know what, this doesn't look that nice, how about I just throw it all out and I just start anew, start where I left off, and I just go with what I technically can remember from there. I didn't want to make anything too detailed because I knew it would probably look crap, so I decided to go with something simple. And an artist that does that job really well, with making everything look so beautiful while simplistic, is an artist I look up to a lot called Temi Chang. Not only did she work for a lot of the artwork on Undertale, but she also made her own little indie game Escape Chasm, which seems to be a prelogue to sort of like, or a prologue to a bigger series. But it also has some of the most beautiful cutscenes and beautiful artwork despite being so simple in its execution. All it takes is just a little bit of boldness and a little bit of confidence in those few lines that you are going to be drawing. So I decided, That's what I want. I started off, of course, by making the circle for her head, which I tried to make as perfect as I possibly could. Remember, we're still trying to make these shape languages and these lines as confident as we can, even though my hand is shaking and can barely even remember what holding a pen feels like. Suffice to say, I still think I did okay, flipping the drawing back and forth like a maniac just to check that my shapes aren't droopy. And while doing all this, of course, I was trying to figure out the great puzzle in my head, which was how am I going to make such a big circle look anything remotely like Hornet's head? Because I don't know if you noticed, but there's not a lot of circles in Hornet's head. So I decided, you know what, screw it, let's go for the full tribal girl princess look. And I just decided to give her regular human hair. I decided to make the hair long and round to really underline that cute little chibi art style, while also giving it a few little indents here and there just to make sure it doesn't look way too uniform, and also to sort of enforce the idea that she's still that rough, tomboyish princess type that still sort of goes against that whole royal status that she actually has. And then I decided, instead of just giving her horns to sort of complete her U-shaped look, which would slightly resemble Hornet in some weird odd way, then I decided to give her a headband, just because I thought maybe, just maybe, if this isn't a headband, she'll just end up looking like a sort of weird pouty cat anime girl. For the face, I didn't really have many requirements except just the fact that it was somewhat not droopy looking. Anatomy is one thing, but it's really important to make sure that just the face is not droopy, because that's where you're looking at the most. And the outcome was, as I expected it, simple, but I was happy with it. I decided to continue down to her body and then skip past all the anatomy points by pretty much covering it all up in poncho. That's what's so lovely about Hornet's design, you don't have to think about the limbs. But instead of just giving her one triangular uniform sort of poncho, I decided to sort of split it up in two, so now she has a poncho and a little cute dress underneath, which also makes room for her cute little arms to sort of stick out. I decided to almost completely give up on the hands by just sort of giving her Animal Crossing style hands, while holding on to her familiar looking nail that has sort of been changed into a sword shape just because I didn't want it to resemble just too much. I wanted some of her gear to at least somewhat resemble sort of the tribal look that I was going for, sort of the more human compared to the bug aesthetic. I also decided to add the mask, which would sort of complete the head look, but instead of adding it directly on top of her face, I actually thought it would be nice if it was sort of just hanging there like she was having it unequipped at the moment. Now, does that mask actually fit her entire gigantic chibi face? I have no idea. I didn't test it, but the point is there, and that's all that matters for now, or it's enough to satisfy me for now anyway. My perfectionistic brain also wanted to add a few more shapes and patterns to her dress, but I decided to just really pull towards the simplistic for now, although in looking back on it, I could probably still have added at least just a few more lines or just a few more patterns, just to make her dress not look completely just like one cloth, but actually sort of like a sewn dress. And then once I reached the feet, I sort of stepped back. I look at my design and I thought, wait, I've just made a chibi Nezuko. And that's the point when I really gave up and I just decided to, you know what, why not just give her Nezuko style feet? The Japanese sandals sort of fit the whole tribal princess vibe anyway, so why not? In case you're still not caught up, I have given up on the entire idea of uniqueness at this point. But when I stepped back and I actually just completed a little bit of shading, which maybe I'll give a minute to happen now, I'll just sort of rant over it. While that happens, am I done with the shading yet? I don't know. I'm recording this in post, so I don't know that yet. Is it now? I think so. And after shading it up, I sort of stepped back and I was actually sort of happy with what I made. I was actually happy with my design, and even though I didn't really go into a lot of anatomy, I sort of skipped that. Once again, do I need to bring up the Animal Crossing hands and the cloth covering up half the body? But still, I had the cute, simplistic character design that I was looking for, and the shading really helped, something I still need to get better at and something that absolutely has gotten more dusty in my ability closet since I drew last time. I then tried to add color, whereafter I quickly agreed with myself that nope, that's not good, fuck that. And then I agreed to myself also that even though time changes everything, it apparently does not change that color is my Achilles heel when it comes to art. But that has led us to where we are now, my bad drawing, which in all honesty didn't turn out as bad as I thought. But I actually did it. I got over my 2-month hesitation and procrastination hurdle, and now I'm here. And this is basically just a video that exists, so I can promise I will make more art content in the future. I will really try to rack my brain and try to find ideas. It's really easy to automatically fall back on gaming videos because they're a lot easier to make and they might get more views than some art videos, while the art videos take a lot more time and don't necessarily get more views for the work effort. But easy is rarely a good idea. And now that I'm also back on a full-time schedule means I'm going to be grinding so hard at this, so any idea that you leave down below actually has also a double chance of maybe being picked for a video. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I can't wait to make a lot more art video for you guys. That is actually a promise from the heart. So let's see which direction the wind blows us with all this art stuff, okay? If it works out or not, I have no idea, but I'm glad to start the journey and pick it back up again. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.